Good morning. When I first woke up this morning, it wasn't even 4 o'clock. And fairly quickly, my first thought was, what am I going to talk about this morning? And then I lay there for over an hour, meditating, and finally got out of bed at 5. Yeah, I don't go to the meditation room all the time like I used to do. And that's okay. I can lay there and meditate in a reclining position. And many things began to go through my mind, and I observed my thoughts and I observed my feelings, which is what I do. I'm more and more becoming the observer of my own life as it plays out day by day. And I realized that in my own life I have resistance to change, which is the title for today. And that's seen everywhere that I look in the world. I see it in people with their relationships, how people will hang on to something that's probably not the best for them. It's not working, but yet it's what they're familiar with, and they want to hang on. And I have a tendency to do that. I can look back at my own life where I've hung on to relationships that weren't going very well. I've hung on to jobs that I no longer enjoyed. I've hung on to lots of things because it was familiar and more comfortable to hang on than it was to let go and go with the flow and let life carry me to some place where I wasn't sure where it was taking me. Today is the 8th of April. And for the United States, this is the last day, or maybe yesterday was the last day of no funding, and today's the first day with no funding. I don't know. They're running out of money, they claim. What they're really running out of is the ability to operate the old paradigm. I received an email yesterday, one of many, that a lady saw a vision and it was raining ash. Well, of course it rains ash after volcanoes, but I think my interpretation of her dream anyway would be that the old paradigm is turning to ash. It's coming down. And the collapse of the United States government, I'm talking about the corporate government, would be probably one of the greatest boons to the ninth wave changes and the co-creation of our own reality that we've ever been able to experience. There's a whole bunch of people in there, the conservative elements within the current government, that are fighting for budget cuts against the liberals that don't want to make the budget cuts. But the truth is, the corporation known as the United States of America is not being funded like it used to be. There's many ramifications of that which I will not and cannot go into today. We see the results of gas prices going up here in the United States, but it's not because the price of things is going up. It's because the value of the dollar is going down. And the dollar has been for many, many years the reserve currency of the entire world. So what happens here in the United States is going to affect you no matter where you live. That's not American centricity. It's not egocentricity of America. It's just the way the system has been built. And for it to turn to ash would be a wonderful thing. Now, the problem with the money, it's not that there's not enough money. There's more money on paper than there's ever been in the history of the world. Enough to make every single human being on the planet a millionaire. I mean, money is just something that we create. It's a fiction that we create and that we agree on as a means of exchange. It has no reality except the reality that we give it. And we can give it any reality we want. But those that have been running our banking systems, those that have been running our governments, those that have been running our corporations, they measure everything by money. Now, looking at the United States budget by itself, if they eliminated 95% of the military spending, budget problems solved. But no, the conservatives, they want to take the money away from the people, make the people uncomfortable. Well, the people aren't going to stand for being made uncomfortable. I've got news for those that are still trying to resist the changes that are in the air everywhere across the planet. The flame of freedom is burning, and people are waking up all over the planet, in every country, in every corner of the globe, every religion, every race, everywhere, people are awakening. You're not going to stop it. You're not going to be able to hang on and resist the change. It's going to become irresistible. It's the irresistible force of change that's happening. The only thing permanent in all the world is change. That's the only permanent thing that there is. It's the evolution of life itself. And more especially right now, the evolution of our consciousness from an unconscious state to a conscious state, from a state of being asleep to being awakened. This is the awakening. My opinion is, let the government stop and come grind to a halt. Yes, it's going to affect a lot of people, but we will recover. We will be like the phoenix rising from the dust or from the ashes. There will be beauty for ashes given as we co-create a new world together. This is our time, this is our year of co-creation. And it's we, the people, that are doing the co-creating. And how are we doing it? By waking up, by becoming conscious of what's going on, by taking an interest in it. I live in an area in Central Florida where NASA is, where the space shuttle goes up, where all the space missions go up from the Kennedy Space Center. And the military-industrial complex pretty much runs the economy in this area. I mean, everywhere you look, there are these great big plants that build all the weapons and the newest airplanes, and it's military spending, the military-industrial complex. So if the government shuts down, this area gets affected greatly. They're already laying off a whole bunch of people at NASA and at the Kennedy Space Center. And I'm sure Kennedy Space Center is not the only place in NASA that they're laying people off. The government is shutting down, and it's a great thing because the government is a criminal organization. Maybe people don't like to hear that, but it is a criminal organization supported by the economic, well, actually it supports the economic system of the handful of people and families in the world that want to rule the whole world. And they've done a very good job of waking people up because people are becoming aware. I mean, the government's finding money to still keep putting cameras at all the intersections to catch people running red lights. They're still finding things to spy on people. Those things, those projects, which they think is going to maintain their power and their illusion and keep the status quo going, they keep spending money there, but they don't want to spend money on education. They don't want to spend money on health care. They don't want to spend money on things that are going to help make people's lives a little bit easier, because that makes their lives, those that want to run the show, a little bit more difficult. And we need to understand these dynamics that are in place, and that, as I started, this has its root in each of us. It's not something that's just accidentally happening out there to us, making us victims and slaves. No, it's our own resistance to change and our own willingness to settle into our own discomfort with a lackadaisical attitude of like, what can I do about it? Well, you can do something about it. You can wake up. You can become aware. You can share with your friends what's happening in the world. And most important of all, you can develop an attitude of thanksgiving, an attitude of gratitude. You can be thankful that everything is changing. Because those changes, the ashes that are being rained down upon us as we watch the old world disintegrate, the old ideologies come crashing down. As we watch this, we can rejoice in our hearts. Why? Because this is symbolic in our real world of illusion. It's symbolic of the changing of the guard, the shifting of the paradigm. The new paradigm is already here. It has already won. But there is still resistance to change. I spoke about some of that yesterday, even in the Republic. The things that are happening there have the fingerprint of the Illuminati all over it. I mean, it's all about control. And John Smallman's message yesterday, I post John Smallman's messages twice a week on my web channel on Channeled Messages, but his title was Love Demands Nothing and has absolutely no desire or intent to be controlling. Well, isn't that the truth? Where we're going in this unity consciousness is about love. And love doesn't make demands on anyone else. Love goes with the flow. And it doesn't want to control people, whether it's in relationships or in nations or in corporations. It's not about control. It's about cooperation. That's what love is all about. That's the paradigm that we're moving into. And you can see it if you look for it. You can see it if you look. Or you can only look at the collapse of the old structure and say, what are we going to do now? My God, we're creative people. We're creative beings. We have unlimited resources and unlimited ability to change the whole world and to make it beautiful, to make it wonderful, to create the world that we want, where everyone is free and has the ability and the opportunity to live in and share in their own abundance. And we are abundant. Forget the illusion of lack. It's an illusion. There is no shortage of anything. And if there was a shortage of one thing in one area, it's because that no longer serves the highest good, and we have another thing that we can move into. But we want to hang on to our 8 tracks and our vinyl discs. When I say vinyl discs now, I'm not talking about CDs and DVDs. I'm talking about our old records. I still have a large record collection. I even have some 78s and 33s and 45 RPM records. I don't even have a record player that plays them anymore. Or I have one, but I don't think it works. And I don't think I could buy parts to fix it. In any case, the old is coming down. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We don't need to hang on to where we've been, because where we're going is a heck of a lot more exciting than where we've been. And it's a lot more rewarding to the human soul, to the human spirit, because we're moving into love. That's what the 9th wave is all about. Let the United States government collapse. It's been a fraud for over 100 years. 150 years almost, as the corporation has been running it since 1871. Let it go. Let it go. You're wasting your time if you're trying to hang on to the old. The resistance to change is going to be futile, because change is here, and it's here now, and it's moving like a wave across the planet. It's the 9th wave in the evolution of human consciousness. This is the Great Awakening. So don't be upset because things are changing. Rejoice instead, and be grateful that the old is coming down. Even if there's some bumps in the road ahead of us, it's not going to be as bad if we learn to live with thanksgiving and appreciation for what's happening, and we see with new eyes, the eyes of our heart. Go for it, man. Go for it, lady. Because this is what you've you're here for. This is what we've come here for at this time. We are the ones we've been waiting for, not the government to do it for us. We are the ones that are making the change. It's coming from us. It's coming from our hearts. It's coming from our souls. It's coming from the people of love and light that we really are called to be. This is our day. This is our hour. April the 8th, 2011. The United States government finally succumbs and stops trying to hold up the charade of being in control and being in charge of everything and making demands. And for those in the Republic that are demanding things of others, wake up. Get off of it. It isn't going to work anymore. There's too many people that know. And too many people that recognize the flame of freedom within them. Stop resisting change, folks. Stop resisting it. And be grateful for it, because it's coming, and it's coming at us fast. And it's a wonderful thing. I leave you with that today. I went over my time limit, and they're going to say, you went over 15 minutes. Oh, well, I went over 15 minutes. They accept them anyway. God bless you. Make today beautiful. Make the weekend wonderful. You can do it because it's in your power, and it's all in how you choose to see it. That's the way it's always been. It is, and you will feel it according to the definition and label you put on it. Think about it. You are a powerful creator, a powerful knower. Know that everything is okay. I keep going after I said God bless you. Namaste. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow. I love it.